But we're going to do this last episode for the week also in English, because I think the people that we're going to talk to now will most probably refuse to speak Afrikaans, and the other 50% will really not be able to speak Afrikaans. It was in this weekend's newspapers that Andre Rademan is the president of the Eastern Province Rugby Union. They've been refused now entrance to the Currie Cup A division, and they're going to compete in the B division. Now it's apartheid, and it's first when I saw the headline in the newspapers, I thought that guy from the Watson is making a comeback, but now it's Andre Rademan. But I don't understand. The Eastern Province is very important to South African rugby. I think if there's one province that you really need to give special attention to, it is the Eastern Province. But, I mean, to claim that it's racist and everything because they're not part of the Currie Cup A division, it's absurd. It's stupid.
Carl, we've been strong advocates over months now. No doubt that there must be a lot more focus placed on the Eastern Cape, and there's many examples of top rugby players coming out of that part of the world. So we're not in denial about the fact that it's eventually happened now. So that is great, is to see that Eastern Province is getting some recognition for the player base and the passion and the love for sport in general, but rugby in that part of the world. Now, how do you bring them back? We've seen the mishap with the Kings, even not, and I'm not saying it wasn't of any value to the players and the coaches participating in Europe, for example, and or in Super Rugby, but just shoving them into a structure that they are not prepared for, where they don't have a proper player base prepared for the competition. They've got a huge player base, but that's not the issue. The issue is getting players ready for a certain level of competition so that they can grow and excel, and that's at all levels. So there was a time, very much the situation with the Leopards, for example. The Leopards are participating successfully, albeit taking shots, but successfully in the top junior competitions of South Africa for the last decade and a half. While at the same time, the senior team has not been good enough to participate at the highest level in the Currie Cup. So why is that not wrong? That is looking after the players in the system. So their junior players are good enough because they come through a very good university system, high performance system that grow them. Unfortunately, the Leopard system is just not, doesn't have the resources to hang on to those players the moment they become good senior players. That's why they are participating at the B level in Currie Cup. So until Eastern Province can show and prove that they have put coaching systems in place, a high performance system where players are developed so that they can perform at a higher level, there's absolutely no way that they can purely disclaim to move back into A section Currie Cup. So who is going to provide them with the players? Just looking at the player base that they currently have, that is the so-called contracted group of players, there's no point in putting that very youthful, young group, inexperienced group of players to go and play Currie Cup A section. They will be beaten by huge margins, and there's absolutely no sense in them playing there. So there's nothing wrong with the system as it's been devised now. Get them to perform at their level and grow over a year or two from here on in. And hopefully SARU and sponsors alike will support them so that they can also have the sources and funds to bring in players that would want to go back to the Eastern Cape again.
But it's just, I mean, we all know, we've seen the squad of 40 players that they've named now. I can't see Tuks or Naka or any of the big clubs in South Africa that won't put 50 past them. I can't see. Peter de Villiers can claim whatever he wants and everything. Yeah, they won't be able to compete. Just to the arrogance of these guys to tell the Falke, the SVD and Boland, particularly because I've seen players contracted to them. These guys are doing a proper job. They're contracting the players that came from the Bulls system under 21 that wasn't contract. So they're contracting top quality players. They're not contracting a guy because he's black. And now these guys are arrogant enough to claim that they deserve it more than the Falcons to be promoted to the Currie Cup A section.
Yeah, like I say, unfortunately, there's no validation in that. They've got to earn their spot back there again. If you look at the phase that both the Pumas and the Griquas have gone through and really had the hard yards that they had to go through the last 5, 6, 7 years and still battle to get results, but are at least at a position where they are competitive more than often. Both those teams are very competitive. There's just no comparison, absolute no comparison between what Eastern Province have now, and it's great to know that they've got an ex-Springbok coach that can pull things together, hopefully create some interest in the Eastern Cape. I think that was a good move. But again, like we spoke earlier on another junior setup, one swallow alone is not going to make the summer. You've got to have a very good team, surround you with a good team of people. What is your recruitment system that's going to be followed now? What is your high performance growth system for junior players? How closely linked is Eastern Province with the university that they've got, which has produced very good players? My information currently is that the established links are very weak as it stands. So those are the things that need to be sorted out first. And then you've got to compete with your peers. And beat them and grow by beating them before you can claim a spot. And therefore I agree fully with you. I hope they just settle on the fact that they've got an opportunity now. We are all glad that the Eastern Cape has got EP back again in the system so that they can play and give this massive base of players exposure. Make sure that we get good coaches in there with Peter, a good system, a good junior system again, and then they'll get back to where they want to be. But you can't just walk in there and claim it by default, unfortunately not.
Firstly, Peter de Villiers is no swallow. He's a balloon full of helium. And secondly, the Griquas and the Pumas has shown over several years that they can manage a professional rugby union. Whereas the Eastern Province has failed since Watson's days, that they cannot do it without a political agenda. And if you play rugby with a political agenda, you're going to lose. Yeah. But I don't know if you want to add something. I'm tired of these guys that think because of the color of their skin, they deserve stuff, rather than working for them. You sit on the one hand with these, I can't call them names, I'll be taken to the Gelykheidshof, and on the other hand we sit with a Joey Mogale, we sit with all these top black coaches and players that's willing to work for what they get, and then they are proud for what they achieved. It's time that South African rugby take these two groups and separate them and get rid of the gemors on the one side. My personal opinion. I'm tired.
Yeah, like I say, Carl, I hope to think and honestly believe that we have to get rugby going again. I mean, we're in full agreement there, but it's got to be in the right way. So you've got to create opportunities in the right way. You've got to work for those opportunities, and that includes teams, coaches, and players. You cannot create the impression that you're going to get something for free by just going to a certain team or part of the country. You've got to understand that this is going to take time. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not supposed to happen overnight. You're not going to get a golden ticket into the top tier. And you've got to prove your worth, coaching wise and management wise. And that unfortunately has been the big issue that the Eastern Cape has had over the last couple of years, that they've not been strong in terms of management and coaching and really preparing players to come through that system.
Yeah, Mr. Rademan and Peter and everybody there, if I misinterpreted the article in the report, I do apologize. But yeah, if that's your attitude, well done. We will give you a miss. Regards.